moving on from Virtual Server 2005, which is a very good product, we've actually rewritten it to become a hypervisor. So the actual main core OS is a virtual machine in itself, and then obviously you partition off the server to the virtual machine.
And so to our customers, I mean, obviously this is the kind of stuff that we worry about.
Yeah.
What would you say the key benefit? I mean, I'm hearing for free, and obviously it means that that's great value for the customers, delivers equivalent and or better service to the customer at the same price points. But I mean, do you think that there's been any operational difference for you in terms of the way we're deploying it now, as opposed to if we hadn't virtualized it, for example?
And deployment times obviously are a lot quicker, because obviously you've got a file instead of versus hardware, disks, and a separate operating system you have to install. So fundamentally, the deployment is a lot quicker. So all you're doing essentially is copying the file to the server, booting it up in a virtual environment. Backups are obviously quicker, so you're backing up to your backup storage and to restore the virtual machine. It's essentially copying it back across to the hardware, booting it back up, off you go. In terms of responsiveness and speed from a customer point of view, because the server is only doing what it needs to do, you've got the grunt underneath for when the virtual machine actually requires it, so you're not wasting any power, any heat.
And we can flex and scale, can't we? So
that's correct.
I mean, how much flexibility is there in there? So if a customer grows, what can we do to support that growth within that environment?
Currently, pre-R2 for Hyper-V, we can expand the disks quite easily. It's just a quick reboot to give the mail store, say, partition an extra 100 gig, 200 gig going forward. In R2, it will allow you to hot add memory and additional CPUs on the fly, so if a server needs an extra 3 gig because of more people joining, or they've got big mails coming in and out, we can hot add memory on the fly so we can cope with the growth.
And that's virtual CPU, virtual memory.
Virtual CPU, virtual memory, yes.
And from a project management point of view, I'd say as well that one of the advantages of using Hyper-V over the competition is that because it's all Microsoft, from hypervisor through to operating system through to application, it means we've got one person to talk to. You don't get the usual vendor going, oh, it's his fault, it's your fault, and that whole backwards and forwards, which it sounds like it's a technical problem, but it's not, because it adds in time to fix problems, it adds in costs to fix problems for the customer. So from a customer point of view, it means that we can give SLAs that mean something, as opposed to, well, we've spoken to that vendor and he says that it's the other vendor's fault, backwards, forwards, for a number of days, weeks, months, whatever it is. So by having it all in a Microsoft solution, it means that we can take advantage of the fact that A, we're a gold partner, and B, it's one person to speak to at the end of the day, and they've tested all this stuff in-house themselves. So it, from a project management point of view, it meant that we could get to market a lot quicker and had to spend less time on development, which is important, but it also means that the more time we spend in development, the more cost to the customer.
Actually, another point we should mention is the fact that it is all Microsoft hypervisor operating system. Windows 2008 actually is hypervisor aware now, so when it's running inside a virtual machine, it adjusts the way it runs and the way it manages its memory to the virtual environment, so you are getting better performance. So there's something in the IO stack that it does, like reading and writing 4K pages differently in a VM to how it does on a hardware.
Right.
So it can adjust itself for the environment it's running in.
And we benefit from better performance as a consequence.
Exactly.
Very exciting. And you referred to efficiency earlier on, Richard. I mean, Richard, in the efficiency in terms of price and carbon, and we laughed a little bit earlier on, but I have certainly started referring to Lumison's own 80-20 rule. Can you share with our viewers some of the impact that all of this technical conversation has on what we deliver then?
Yes. Well, I mean, obviously because it's virtualized, then we can start taking these big servers that have lots of capability in them and start chopping them up into safe, secure, efficient virtual machines that allow customers to take advantage of the scale that we have in the data center. So in the data center we have thousands of servers, and we can use those servers to provide those customers with virtual services. For example, for the Exchange system, we've been able to, the 80-20 rule, we've managed to reduce the carbon on the servers by 80%, because you're using 80% less power, and also reduce the cost by 20%. So that's where the kind of 80-20 rule comes from, and it gives us that capability of ticking the green box, ticking the lean agenda, which is really important, especially at the moment, and finding the customer the fast, efficient service that works first time, every time.
And it's an interesting point, isn't it? When we speak to customers, I mean, we have seen the engagement where when we ask about what's important to our clients, and everyone will say that the green agenda and reducing their carbon footprint is important. It's a bit like asking whether they're into motherhood and apple pie, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a bit of non sequitur, but they have certainly explicitly said, reduce carbon, but I need you to reduce cost as well. Like, I can't have reduced carbon with an increased cost. So in some respects, we've managed to do a bit of a win-win here, isn't
Yes.
it? Yeah. I mean, I suppose as we roll up this chat, there's been some really good input on this and some great context on what we've done here. It's probably worth letting people know that one of our first customers, ironically, we're not even sitting on a Microsoft platform, yet they're benefiting from this Microsoft environment, isn't it? Marketing agency and a complete Mac house, wasn't it?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
And quite a pleasure to see them come out the other side of it, where all the Macs, the story that I heard was that connected straight to the platform. Entourage, is it?
It's Entourage,
yeah,
it's the Mac client, it's Exchange aware. And I think it says quite a lot about Macs, but also says a lot about Exchange as well in terms of the work that's gone into 2007 SP1, and that's part of the advantage of us using the latest version, is that we're able to take advantage of all those improvements that Microsoft have made that some people out there may still be sitting on, God forbid, 5.5, 2000, 2003, which are all, apart from 5.5, really good platforms. And they have the capability to talk to various things, and they have the mobility stuff in it, sort of, but it's more kind of bolt-on in those things. Also, you find with those older platforms that they have issues with scale. So there's issues with mailbox size limits, information store size limits, and all those kind of nasty headaches that sysadmins have to worry about day in, day out with kind of older version Exchange. There are limits still in 2007 SP1, but they're much more increased, and also the efficiency is improved because they've used some of the improvements they made to the SQL Server engine to improve the performance in the information store as well. So from that kind of point of view, it means that dealing with people like Mac users and stuff like that, who you might in the past go, oh, it's a Mac user, it's scary, and is it going to work? It's just so easy now, and that's not to belittle the work that was done around this. It was all kind of, a lot of work was put into this, but it's a case of it's just simpler and what's the word? Kind of, you're not ice skating uphill essentially now with this kind of stuff. It's all designed to work that way, and hats off to Microsoft. It's an absolutely wonderful product.
Well, we're certainly benefiting from it, and the investment we've made in terms of putting that in a virtualized platform, yet offering the integration opportunities. I mean, we're certainly getting good traction with our customer base. So I just want to say thank you very much, both Richards, for your time. I hope that was of interest, and if anyone's interested in more details, visit our website, www.lumison.net, and we'll catch up next time we're talking about some of the new stuff we're doing.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Bye.